You know how your iPhone can shoot pretty great videos? What if you could use an AI-powered tool to make those videos smoother, better, and more interesting? Let's ramble.
Hold up, things go wild when I pull up. They all on me like at once.
Hey, what's up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick, and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So we all know that the cameras on iPhones keep getting better and better. I mean, between the improving sensors and the lenses and the incredible software-based enhancements, even amateurs can produce at least decent looking videos. With that said, an iPhone is of course still primarily a phone, and because it's built like a phone and not like a camera, it's not exactly ideal to hold, and it can be challenging to produce nice and stable footage. Footage that flows, if you will. Meet the Insta360 Flow. This is the newest iPhone gimbal by Insta360. Now, if you know Insta360 at all, you know this isn't going to be just another gimbal. I've reviewed many of their products here on the channel, and every single one of them has been innovative to say the very least. I've reviewed their 360 cameras, both modular and dedicated models, and of course the amazing Insta360 Link, which is still hands down the best 4K webcam I've ever used. All of those products have two things in common. One, they're super easy to use, and two, they're extremely innovative and packed with features that make your footage look way more interesting. Their latest product that literally drops today, the Insta360 Flow, is no exception. At first glance, it's, a very pretty looking gimbal. But when I'm done taking you through the features, you'll understand why that description doesn't do it justice. Just to be clear, this is not a sponsored review, no money exchanged hands, but Insta360 did send me this review unit ahead of the launch so I could have some time to test it out before I make a video for you guys. Now, if I had to guess, the name Flow has to do with the flow-like footage you get when using a super smooth gimbal like this one. But it could also refer to the setup process, which is by far the most frictionless I have ever seen on any gimbal. Normally, there are many moving parts you have to unlock and reposition. You'll need to balance your gimbal, and you'll have to do all of this every single time you want to use it. I don't know about you, but for me, that usually results in me not really using it because it's too much work. The Insta360 Flow has solved that problem. You simply attach the magnetic clamp to your phone, snap it onto the gimbal, and deploy the whole thing in one single movement. The coolest thing about this system is that you don't need to take it all apart when you're done. You just fold the gimbal back up, take the magnetic clamp off the gimbal, and stick it in your pocket. The magnetic clamp has such a low profile that you can just leave it on your phone the entire day you're filming. A couple more really nifty hardware features before we get to the good stuff, which is of course the AI-powered software features. When using the gimbal in classic grip position, I like to use the grip cover that comes with it for extra comfort. The next thing I like to do is tilt the gimbal for a better shooting angle. You can also pull the grip out a little bit just to have that little more grip on the bottom. Now, this is not just a grip extension. This is actually a built-in tripod, which is another really useful feature, especially when you're a solo creator. Normally, I would have to screw my gimbal onto a little tripod. No need for that with this one, and that's one less thing to carry around with me. Now, I can hear you think, yeah, but that's way too low. Not when you extend the built-in selfie stick. And even with this thing fully extended, the whole thing is surprisingly stable. Now, one of my biggest gripes with some of the other gimbals I've used is their controls. They're either too clunky or you need to go through way too many layers in the menu to get to the setting you want. The Insta360 Flow has what they call a smart wheel, which lets you use your thumb to basically swipe between the different shooting modes. You can also double tap on the switch and record button to go back and forth between these modes. By double pressing the switch button, you can easily switch between portrait mode and landscape mode, so you don't have to remove or detach anything if you want to record some vertical content. Literally just double press and boom, you're ready to shoot. On the back of the device, you will find a trigger button that lets you trigger some of the most important and most used settings. Press the trigger once to access deep tracking, and I will get back to this awesome feature in just a minute. Press it twice to recenter the phone. This is a feature I really use a lot when you're filming very actively using the joystick all the time. The camera angle changes, and instead of manually trying to, get it back to center, you just double press the trigger and it will perfectly align it with the horizon again. A triple press on the trigger will flip your phone around, which is very useful when you want to vlog, but you want that better quality of the rear camera. If you want to replay the video you just shot, you just long press the switch button for a quick look at your shot using the Insta360 app. Even the controls in this viewing mode are intuitive. You just swipe the smart wheel to navigate through your footage. If you want to go back to filming, you just single press the power button and you're good to go. If you swipe the very edges of the smart wheel, you can actually zoom in and out. You can either swipe and hold to zoom smoothly, or swipe and let go to switch between the iPhone's cameras. Now, the real magic happens when we combine the smart hardware features of the gimbal with the AI-powered software inside the Insta360 app. Let me take you through some of those features to show you exactly what I mean. You know, when you're at a place with really nice scenery and you want to get it all onto a single photo, you'll probably use the panorama feature on your phone, right? But it's not easy to do that perfectly, and they always come out a little weird, especially when you do the 360 thing. The Insta360 app has a feature for that whereby it uses the extended gimbal to shoot that panorama for you in a perfect line for the best results. Probably the real star of the features is Deep Track 3.0. You can either manually select a target to start tracking or just hit the trigger on the gimbal. When there are several people in the shot, I find the manual method works best. Once it has a lock on your target, the gimbal and camera will follow your subject, which works perfectly when your subject is moving. But it also works really well when you're moving and your subject you just want to keep in the frame. The cool part is that it can actually identify a person. So if you're filming someone and they move out of the frame for whatever reason, when they move back into the frame, Deep Track will re-identify and lock onto the target again. When it notices that the frame is becoming too crammed, it's hard to find your target, it will switch to another lens to zoom out and create more space, making it easier to get a lock on your subject. Now that's what I call smart. If you're into slow motion shots, there's a setting specifically for tracking high frame rates too. Now in terms of shooting modes, you can choose how much control you want to have. Auto mode is definitely best if you're just getting started. It will automatically adjust gimbal settings based on your movements. It's the easiest way to use this gimbal without a doubt. In follow mode, the gimbal stays truest to your hand movements and it will follow them fast. In pan follow mode, the horizon will be locked. I don't know if you've ever seen a chicken do that trick, but they don't mess around. Their image does not wobble. If you want really dynamic shots that almost look like they were shot by a drone, you want to choose FPV mode. You can also use the smart wheel to spin the smartphone for a really trippy effect. By pressing and holding the trigger button, you can lock all axes of the gimbal, which is the perfect setting for following your subject around smoothly. And lastly, we have Active Plus mode, which is perfect for those action shots if you need to follow a very fast moving subject, and it can be used in all modes. So yeah, like I said, this thing can do a lot. Oh, and I didn't even mention what I consider to be added bonus features. The gimbal comes with a spotlight, which really helps in those low light situations. It also has a dedicated mount for external microphones. Now that's a big one for me personally because the audio on the iPhone is crap. Unless you're literally talking directly into it, it just doesn't sound very good. So to be able to hook up an external mic is fantastic. And if you do end up running out of your phone battery, but you have some left in your gimbal, well, ta-da! It can also be used as a power bank. Look, if all that didn't convince you to snag one up, I don't know what will. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.